Alrighty everybody, welcome back to the HeroesCCL CCL. We have a wonderful match coming up for you today. We've already finished our first best of 5 series of the day, with Onyx losing out to Simplicity in a 3-0. Simplicity, our previous season champions, able to gain the momentum and come out ahead. It wasn't that close though. Sorry, it was much closer than the 3-0 really shows. Onyx in all 3 games had moments where it looked like they could take it. In game number 1 and 2 especially, they had moments where they were just straight up in the lead, but they were unable to claim victory. Our second series though, this team, WildHeart Esports, will be taking on Chili Mountain. WildHeart's unchanged in its entirety except for their substitute. Funds was actually one of their main roster, I believe, with Weary Day being their substitute last season. However, in this case, Weary Day is now main roster. Funds was picked up by Onyx, meaning Weary Day is here and Mason Blaze excuse me, has come in that substitute role. Now Mason Blaze is here as a ranged assassin, but can very easily play the healer role as well. So they've got a lot of flexibility now with that roster. Very useful for them, very solid. We'll see if that's the path they wish to continue rolling down. WildHeart's looking solid. I believe they're just playing standard roster today. No confirmation on that, but it is the assumption. On the other side, Chili Mountain. We mentioned this before the break. They have a very different team to last season. All of their Swedes are the same. They still have Bergolt, Gia, and Maka, but now they have Azerite from 30k last season and Banana H, who was just ridiculously strong last season, I believe, for Oxygen. So seeing them come in here is really, really good news for them. We'll see what Banana H can pull off. As Temptation EU, thank you very much for the follow. Remember, this Chili Mountain team is actually an exact copy of their Masters Clash team, which currently sits in 5th position, which we talked about before the break is a really brave play, because when you want to copy a roster, you usually want to go for, like, the highest roster, but in this case that would be 30k, which most of their players are owned by other people, or the Hardos, which is the same case. But for this, it is a double down by Chili Mountain onto a certain group of players, giving them the option to keep those players playing together for longer. These two teams have played together off-season the most, because WildHeart have been playing in the Nexus Gaming Series Storm Division, whereas Chili Mountain have been playing in Masters Clash. Very interesting. For now, here are your map picks, map bans. With WildHeart's banning out Alterac, Chili Mountain removing Dragonshire. And as such, we are heading to Infernal Shrines as our first map pick. Looks like we're going to see Chili Mountain gaining first pick and first ban here. Very interesting. Now, WildHearts didn't make it out of Game 1 in the Icebreaker tournaments. Didn't make it out of Series 1, whereas Chili Mountain did. Chili Mountain losing in round number 2. Oh, okay, I guess we have a lobby. All right, let's go. They didn't make it out. Chili Mountain made it to round number 2 before losing 2-0 to 30k, whereas WildHeart, they did lose in round 1 of the Icebreaker tournament. WildHeart, of course, losing out to Granite Gaming in a 2-0. We'll see how that works out for the teams as we are going to get underway with game number 1, with Chili Mountain immediately banning out a Medivh. So remember, these are the 2 most practiced teams coming in to this second series of the day. Who's going to be coming out on top? We're going to remove the Sonya to start off. Excuse me. Having a look at some of their statistics, again focusing on Season 2 statistics as opposed to just Season 1 or 2 statistics, because the rosters have changed quite a bit for Chili Mountain's sake. Chili Mountain leading quite heavily on D.Va and Falstad and Brightwing. Very good, big soak-based heroes. They're going to ban out that Hogger. WildHeart did play the Hogger, did not win with it. Of course, they have 0% win rate currently on every hero this season, because they have yet to win a match. Final ban for WildHeart, the top lane, getting very much more focused here. The Bruisers, Hogger, and Sonya. This feels more like the Storm Division drafts that we have been seeing very, very recently. This feels a lot more standard. If we lose Uther or Chromie, then we're really in that standard ban phase. And there he goes. Main tank Uther, gonna be denied, gonna be removed, taken out of action. Daisy Cat, thank you for the 69 bits. Very appreciated. Remember, everybody, if you enjoy these casts, please consider dropping a subscription or a donation. It really, really helps because I do not get paid to do this. So every donation, every subscription really helps me out. Diva is the first pick for Chili Mounts. I've already mentioned that they lean on it quite a lot. It gives them good global potential. It's AoE damage, which is great for the objective. And of course, the potential to self-destruct to guarantee capture of some of those shrines as the game goes on. Lucio, who was actually ignored in the ban phase this time, is going to make their way in along with Chromie. Similar situation. Those two heroes are in that top six ratio that we are seeing already in the ban phase of WildHeart. Definitely getting a lot of the more standard high priority picks so far. Chili Mountain now with Diva on the board. Brightwing still open to them, and that's one of their big favorites here, as is Cassia. That will give them a lot of soak potential for what is quite a large map, but they bring out the Mei instead. Very interesting. Something about it also, it is Cattle coming in here, not Gia today. So we are seeing Cattle, the substitute for Chili Mountain, going to be playing as their main tank today. So bringing out that Mei. Now WildHeart Esports. Take away that Sylvanas. Sylvanas has the potential for either extra damage, percentage damage to try and burn through frontliners, which is always capitalized on by slows, which can really gain value from Mei. And if not, that's a little bit of burst value that Cassia doesn't have as much until later levels. So it's a solid removal there, very sensible. All very logical by both these teams so far. They've got a little bit of soak. Solid frontline and damage for Chili Mountain is very standard, very reasonable so far. WildHeart, what do we see from them? Need some hard lockdowns to deal with Cassia. Varian would be the go-to counter for Mei. But is that the route they want to go down? They hold their tank here. Yrel and Falstad coming in here. Falstad gives themselves that global potential. Yrel can double soak well enough. Really good disruption, can give a lot of backline problems for Cassia. It's a very solid pickup here. And Yrel seems to be rising in priority once again. Do Cassia and Li Ming synergize? That is debatable, depending on what kind of map or composition you're talking about. If you're talking about a poke composition, then absolutely. You can utilize them on Battlefield of Eternity for great Immortal Race. Cassia's Q build. Fantastic for the Immortal Race on the map. But if it's a map like Infernal Shrines, you should really be avoiding Li Ming in general, because you will be losing value because there's too many Shrine minions blocking the potential shots. But in certain situations, yes, a poke composition, a Li Ming and a Cassia can work quite well together. WildHeart, now to counter this out, they get Blaze. Main tank Blaze, good CC, extra protection for them potentially. Could be solid. Chili Mountain with that Hanzo on the board. Mei into Hanzo could be really, really solid DPS. I expect this would be a Dragon Arrow game, but this could still, in theory, be Dragon Strike. Between Dragon Strike and Self-Destruct, they would have an insane amount of zoning potential. Alrighty. We're going to be getting ready to head into game number 1 very shortly, everybody. When we do, it'll be game number 1 between WildHeart Esports and Chili Mountain. Chili Mountain last season won 1 series against Granite Gaming, who proceeded to butcher in that series. So that one's kind of a wash. If Chili Mountain can even win a map, they have already performed a little bit better. They're already starting off better than they have. They've already won 1 less map than they have the entirety of last season by winning games in the Icebreaker tournament. So Chili Mountain, they have nothing to lose here, but this team, second place in Season 1, has everything to gain. WildHeart Esports with Zergling on that Urel, Buds on Falstad, Pitkid on the Blaze, Unaverted on Chromie, and Weary Day playing that Lucio. On the right-hand side, in the red trunks, Chili Mountain, Banana H on Stukov, Maka on the Cassia, Cattle going to be playing that Mei, Azerite on Hanzo, and Bergolt will be playing that Diva. I'm really glad they renamed themselves from Burger. Use your regular name, don't pander. We're going to be seeing a new habits. Very sensible. There's a lot of crowd control on the side of Chili Mountain. Having that extra cleanse as the game goes on is going to be really, really nice. I'm going to try and put some pressure immediately on, and they do, but they do knock everyone out of the path of Unaverted. So a little bit of a misplay by WildHeart. They miss some damage. I'm going to turn down the game sound a tiny bit, everybody. If it's too quiet for you, let me know. I'm turning it down for my benefit. I can adjust other stuff on my side if it turns out to be too quiet. We are live, so I can adjust the volume, so let me know if you want any changes made. Probably starting off with the extra vision. Pretty much to keep the vision going there. Mei, doing what most Meis these days are going for. They've moved away. Hey, that's a rhyme. We did it. We are champions. We have made puns, as Weary Day used to be annoying. But the Mei moving away from the heat transfer, which used to be the go-to for basically every Mei player, and is now moving into what is now definitely the go-to for the majority of professional Meis, the Ice Storm. Getting the additional 45 damage on every third hit from Blizzard against heroes, and the additional damage at the end of the Blizzard also does 150% bonus damage on the final stun. Pretty reasonable for wave clear here. You lose a little bit of sustain, but you are Mei. Not the worst situation. Still have a lot as is. Big charge from Pitkid. Bud's able to chase down a bit against an auto attack Falstad. Still, the zapping talents are currently banned because they are bugged. Bartic armor for the Cassia. And freedom for the Urel. Pretty standard stuff across the board here. And Blaze is going in for a big get stuck in build here. Going to be building full trait. Already has that new habits. Not only does new habits give you that unstoppable once you are fully stacked, but it also gives you cooldown reduction. 8 seconds of cooldown reduction each regen globe you get. Combine that with Meltdown. Hitting an enemy hero with your trait, with your Pyromania, reduces their damage by 8% up to 35%. So Blaze gonna wanting to get stuck all the way into that backline and just lower that damage output, keep themselves unstoppable. This is all about Pitkid just going in deep. This is the deep dive Blaze build. Azerite just stacking for now. He's gone for target practice. Very interesting. They're gonna have to come for the objective as that's the case. Got a wave clearing away. Dodging away from the charge of Pitkid. Nicely done. Bergolt has self-destruct, holding the line for the moment. We have Unaverted, Buds, Weary Day, and Pitkid all here. They're going to immediately try and wipe out that Shaman camp. And they also start the objective. Bergolt's there too. Big advantage being taken by WildHeart. The numbers in their favor. Both Hanzo and Urel are the ones currently left to split Soak, to Soak for the teams. But it looks like Hanzo is going to make his way all the way up. Urel's going to take a little bit of extra time. Mobius loop for Unaverted here. Go for a little bit of extra slow for the enemies. Try and keep some zoning that way. With Blaze being their main tank, a little bit of extra CC is a little bit welcome here. They poke away. Righteous momentum for Urel here. There's the charge from Cattle, but Pitkid tags it. Counter charge. A great cryo stays from Cattle to block it. Forced to icing away. Self-destruct is burned. Gets quite a few of these minions for Chili Mountain, who are still trying. Bergolt's trying to race while the rest of the team plays aggressive. Marker barely alive, but it's all a distraction. Marker giving their life, but Bergolt gets the counter kill onto Falstad. 35 to 34 in favor of WildHeart, but we're seeing Chili Mountain with the positioning. Zergling's team, Pitkid's team, they're trying to take it. There's the Blizzard to try and secure, and they do with Chili Mountain grabbing the first Punisher. Grey zoning, lurking arm, time trap. Punisher getting ready to jump. They have to retreat upwards, meaning they have nowhere to go. Chromie's down, Pitkin's down, Zergling's on the run, but a massacre out of Chili Mountain. Zergling trying to stay alive, taking so much damage, finally dies to Azerite. But that was an absolute massacre by Chili Mountain, able to secure the objective, able to buy the time they need. Lead is taken by Chili Mountain. They push their way in, clearing out the entirety of the front wall here and getting some good damage. They even sniped the fountain while they were here. That's good value. It's going to give them great push potential later on. Hanzo, really heavy on the burst here. Going for the Dragon Hungers. Standard stuff with a Q-based Hanzo. Getting that extra 5% spell power up to 20% every time he hits a hero with Stormbow. Standard stuff for Mei the rest of the way. Full icing build. This is the go-to these days. Falstad as well. Upgrade on the Q. Going to be going with that secret weapon. Full auto attack focused here. Not going with that extra damage on Boomerang for wave clear. They clear out as best they can. Really try to pile the pressure on. Lucio has 11 on its roll damage. I thought it was just tankiness there. I was about to say, there's no way Lucio has 11,000 damage tanked. There's 11,000 healing. Azerite still clearing out. Soaking for the team. Up to 3 stacks on that target practice. Ice Wall is dodged because level 10 is hit. Counter charge. Just as level 10 hits, we see the dive coming in with new habits. Pitkin unstumbles their way through. Trying to push in for Cattle, but they can't find the kill. They get the slows, they get good damage. Slowing Sands even were dropped, but they can't chase any further. High 5 on that Lucio is huge. It's going to make it so hard for Mei to find the angles they need. Mighty Gust, slowing Sands. Barrel roll by Buds has to be used. Bunker, of course, for Blaze. There is an option for running Combustion when you're a main tank Blaze, just for that extra DPS and big slow, but that armor and protection gives you so much value. And that's where they're going to stay. They do have to be careful, though. Blizzard can be used and can be really good counter to Bunker if it's dropped right on top of it as it is about to expire. Bergon escapes. Ice Wall sidestepped. Good attempt. Pitkin really trying to wade forward. Dragon Arrow, though, as the counter into the nice little lurking arm. Prevents the counter engage. You can see Pitkin looking to counter engage a lot of these fights. Both teams trying to creep forward. Micro missiles we've already been seeing from Devo doing quite a bit of damage to Falstad. Blizzard and Slowing Sands trading wins back and forth. Neither one able to gain a solid advantage over the other yet. Level 13's where we're going to see some big power spikes for these teams. We're going to be seeing sustained wins for Falstad most likely. Give them a huge extra bit of percentage damage. It's going to make Mei's job so much harder. Excuse me. Diva gets a lot more safety with good to go. There's a lot that can be done here. Blaze can either get suppressive fire or meltdown. 2 really big talents that could get some good value. Sorry, suppressive fire or fuel leak or nanomachine. Any of those good here. Bergelt just gonna knocks people away. Has that little hit the Nitros, those mini stuns. 9 to 25, currently in favor of Chili Mountain. High 5 was used by Lucio there. Mini Pickett still has their own unstoppable. Falstad's clearing off to the side, but Micro Missile stealing them away, 32 to 14. This is very in favor of Chili Mountain right now. As they creep their way forward. Bergelt looking for the self-destruct, looking to zone. There's a good timeout. Gust completely pushes away to self-destruct. High 5 is moved unaverted. Bunker blocks the self-destruct, but it does guarantee the objective as Hanzo's picked off. Sorry, Falstad's picked off by Mei. Everyone else is able to retreat out, but again, Chili Mountain with their area control is continuing to hold wins and take victories in these fights. Looking good for them. Bergelt's going to clear out top up here. Charged by Blitkid. Stuns out Mei, but just Mei. Cattle escapes. Using that icing, barely getting out of danger there. We have Flurry for Mei, the cooldown reduction on Blizzard. And that extra attack speed as well, a little bit of extra DPS. Really trying to keep the areas zoned, but that cooldown reduction on Blizzard is going to be so strong here. You're trading out Polar Vortex for it, but in this case that might be good. Let's see if they go Acclamation next level, or whether we'll stick with Black Ice. Making their way forward. They hold for now. The Chilly Mountain. They look like they might want to try and steal this cap. Aldor Peacekeeper, by the way, for Yrel, more damage reduction. They now have Meltdown and the damage reduction of Aldor Peacekeeper. If you can't kill us, then we have more time to kill you, seems to be the strategy of WildHeart Esports for now. Holding for now. And WildHeart's patently crazy drafts seem to be struggling to find their footing here today. But there's still plenty of time. XP is still basically even. They still technically have all their forts. So it's not yet over for WildHeart Esports. It's so going to be the name of the game for both teams, with 16 around the corner, and the next objective going to be in top lane. Both teams already have very weakened buildings up there. Difference is Chilly Mountain still have their fountain. That's somewhere they can retreat to. Good knockback there with the icing, preventing Yrel from jumping in, keeping her in the blizzard. Virulent Reaction going to be used. Blaze just kind of standing there and taking it. Weary Day trading out with Cattle, a knockback of his own, forcing the retreat. Buds eating a lot of damage. Here comes Marker, dodging everything. Nicely done by Buds. Cattle forced to retreat. Pickett sets the trap, but it's safe rotations across the board from Chilly Mountain. It's dead. Look for Mei, focusing her down. Cryostasis already dropped, and there's the icing for the retreat. Ice Wall catches Blaze. Zergling gonna zone away, buy some time. Lurking Arm. Pickett does get stunned out, takes a lot of damage. You got that piercing arrows from that Hanzo, but it's not enough to kill. Buds sniped the fountain. That is huge for their team here. Really getting value on the map and meaning that they can actually take it in a pretty even fight around the objective time. Level 16 on the board for both teams. We're seeing the self-healing for Blaze. Trying to stay alive with that level 16 heat treatment. Healing for 75% of the damage dealt by Pyromania. He's already built into the cooldown reduction on it. Might as well abuse it. This might be pretty abusable with Globe build, actually. Globe and Alexstrasza. Might have to experiment with that later. They're going to hold the line for now. Make their way up to top lane. Super strain for Stukov. Extra burst healing when people get stunned. More team comms that we can't listen to. The team comms are probably just let D.Va win and then try and engage with them when they go in. There's the root. Dragon Arrow. Goodbye, Yrel. In the silence, meaning she could not use her trait. Weary Day getting run down by Virgo. High Five used to dodge the micro missiles here. Pickett, Trana's over the rest of the team, and Falstad realizes they cannot help here. Roll away. We are down a member. They get this objective. We push elsewhere. And that's exactly what Falstad's doing, using Afterburner, in fact, to rotate a little bit faster, getting that extra 60% movement speed, decaying over 3 seconds, helping them rotate quickly around the map. Very smart here. And WildHeart Esports, they are looking a little shaky, but they're still trying to find stuff anywhere they can. Sniping a fountain here, buying themselves a little bit of time. But this will be another Punisher. Going over to Chilly Mountain, who I believe has secured every Punisher so far this game. It's a Mortar Punisher as well. Gonna make their way in forwards. They smash their way through the fort. There's going to be 2 forts going over to Chilly Mountain. A big lead is about to be gained by them here. The Punisher, though, has been left abandoned. That will be cleaned up. Camp's going to be stolen. They try to find Buds, but Buds just doing Buds things. Just split soaking, gaining experience, trying to get value with this Falstad. It's a smart play here. Mercy shielding for D.Va, by the way, trying to keep himself alive and has the good to go. Big safety plays. Mobius Loop forces Bear Gulp to burn the Q. Level 20 hit for Chromie. Gonna keep with that Pierce. No spell armor reduction on the Sowing Sands. Very smart play. Chilly Mountain begin to put their pressure onto bot lane. Last remaining fort. Nice little time trap. Charge lands, but they don't have the follow-up. Instead, Virulent Reaction, Gust, and High Five both have to be burned. Rough situation for WildHeart. Its High Five is a low cooldown, though. It's already back, and it will be back on Pitkid in just a few seconds. Could be worse. Urel's been able to wave clear pretty effectively. There's still one camp left. That's not the worst thing. Big slows and damage dropped onto Buds, forcing the retreat here. They're leaving Urel now to split soak and double clear. They have that percentage damage on the hammer. As the fountain is slain. No tier 1 fountains left for either team now. Both teams been focusing them down, removing that extra sustain. Next objective gonna be in this bottom lane. This is why we're seeing so much focus down here. Urel continuing to clear up. Desperately trying to keep them in it XP-wise. It has done a good job here. Despite it being down 4 kills, they're actually not that far behind in XP. And because of this, they're actually going to hit 20 just a tad after Chilly Mountain. That's when we could see WildHeart make their way back into this and put themselves back in a position where they can make the comeback in this game at number 1. Excuse me, Chilly Mountain. What a performance, though. Looking amazing at this stage. Keeping momentum, keeping the push going. They're going to use those level 20s to push in. Timing attack. When push comes to shove. Infinite lightning almost certainly for the Cassia. There we go. The emergency ice block for the Mei, the cryostasis, and Bullseye coming in for Hanzo. No global for them. They're just going to let D.Va do the clearing when she needs to. Bergolt trying to zone. Atl forced to retreat. And with level 20 on the board, we do see WildHeart just take the hits and realize that even 4v5 with level 20s, they have a lot of potential. They want to force Chilly Mountain to fight pre the objective, so they were able to win their own camp back. And in the meantime, Buds, it's a big chunk of push done. Counter Bruiser being done by Chilly Mountain. That'll actually work quite well in their favor because their minion wave is going to arrive just after it. Meaning they might actually have a pretty big minion wave accumulation by the time this is over. Actually, they might struggle a little bit here. Those dogs are going to have to tank pretty hard. Falstad finishes bot fort. Remember, this is where the Punisher is pushing. WildHeart really trying to gain momentum here. They've got Mixing Fire now. Anti-healing for Weary Day. Going to be backing away. Blaze takes a lot of damage, has to burn that trait, stays alive. Weary Day was able to get a good set of high fives. The Dragon Arrow comes down, but Ice Wall does not land. Pitkid using the bunker in and out, dancing through. Has to back away though. Urel, a little bit weakened on the other side. Everyone's a little bit low here. Lucio trying their best to heal up, but Lucio's healing is not the best. They make their way forward. Seraphim for circling, trying to hold the line, self-destruct. Gust with Wind Tunnel forces it off the point. They only get 3 for that. 21 to 31 in favor of Chilly Mountain as in comes D.Va deep into the back line. Pitkid tries to hold the line. They get Cassia first. Pitkid stays alive. 35 to 26 as Chilly Mountain win the objective again, but they lose Cassia. Azerite trades shots with Buds. Bergolt keeps the mech. Another Punisher in favor of Chilly Mountain. But they lose the fight for one of the first times this game. D.Va forced to top lane to deal with the Bruiser camp up there, meaning that WildHeart Esports, again, will get another free clear. It's a frozen Punisher as well. This would have been amazing for Chilly Mountain to push with. But those level 20s for WildHeart coming up dividends for them. We're still seeing Chilly Mountain, though. They still have control of the map. WildHeart hold on to their keeps, but Chilly Mountain, they're able to get every single siege camp. Unless WildHeart can pull off a hell of a dive. Camps available. No one stood on it. No one stood on it. There's the root. They secure it. Massive shove. Ice wall. Stun. Barrel roll by Buds. Gets them out. Bullseye on Zergling. That forces the disengage. That was real close there. That Dragon Arrow landing on Falstad might have been the death of him. Really nicely done. Chili Mountain finding their opportunities there. Really good disengage, re-engage, but WildHeart just able to escape by the skin of their teeth. Chili Mountain now. They're just rotating around looking to see if they can find Falstad. WildHeart, they're just clearing lanes. Falstad, look at their positioning. Very far back. Buds is being really smart about this. Playing very far back in lane. No reason to be any further out than he is. In fact, even that far out is maybe a little bit risky. But they have more than enough vision. They can clear up, especially now their team is here. This is 100% fine. Wave clears just coming out across the board. Using that Sonic Arrow to gain vision. See that Bear Gods is free to push up here for a bit. A bit of extra value to be gained. WildHeart really committing very hard to late game here. Picked. They are really determined to see if they can find someone here. They're going to wave clear. 4 members of Chili Mountain all hanging around this area. So we see the move out from WildHeart. This might just end up being a keep for keep trade. We're not seeing port staggers yet. They're going to push in. That's going to force the reaction. It's a bruiser. Port's coming out from Chili Mountain. Port's being forced from WildHeart. And that's going to cancel the ports of Chili Mountain. Chili Mountain's push is a little bit scarier. They have that bruiser camp. As such, WildHeart are the ones who are forced to retreat. Chili Mountain, they end up running back. They can now grab their own bruiser camp safely here. Safely is a vague term. It requires multiple people to clear it quickly before anyone arrives. They don't have Cassia here, so if this was an invade from WildHeart, the fact that they only have Burgolt clearing this would be super risky. Cassia will now make their way in, so now this would be a 5v5 if an attempt was made for such a play. And the bruiser will be completed. Both teams still have all keeps. Punisher up in the top lane. No fort available for WildHeart, no fort available for Chili Mountain, but Fountain available for Chili Mountain in base. So Chili Mountain having the fort and the Fountain at their tier 2s. Not the easiest run, but it's not the shortest, it's not the longest either. Making their way forward. Picked, burning that trait very early. Need some Fountains now. Trying to make their way in. Trying to find the angles. Positioning in favor of WildHeart, but we already have a bit of a lead for Chili Mountain here. They charge. Mobius Loop is big damage. They want Cattle, but Cattle escapes. Buds diving deep, trying to find Marker. Ice Wall finds absolutely nothing. Pickett going to run around the Ice Wall in the bunker. Couple of shots of fire with that level 20 upgrade. The fortified bunker. And will back away. They take positioning, and Chili and WildHeart Esports for the first time take a lead on one of these objectives. Vision is gained. Time trap. Onto the Diva with the armor reduction on those time traps. Dragon Arrow catches 3. Wind Tunnel gives them the counter engage opportunities as they turn onto Cattle, who's forced to icing away. Cattle in full retreat. Blizzard zoning. Pinkin turns his attention onto Maka. They want Cassia. They want anyone, but they can't find them. Chili Mountain refusing to die, but while all this was happening, bot lane was pressured. A single catapult with a minion wave has done all that damage. That keep is weak. This fort shall fall. This keep shall weep as WildHeart Esports begin to make their comeback. The fort falls before the Punisher even makes it. This is going to be keep pressure coming in from WildHeart. Bot lane's not looking too healthy either, but it will clear out with the minion wave. Punisher over the wall. Cattle tanks it. Able to eat and pull it all the way through. It's a mortar Punisher. Could be worse for Chili Mountain. WildHeart creeping forward. Setting themselves up. Massive shove is burned, but the keep will fall. Stun on Diva. Stun chain prevents the self-destruct. Banana Rage looking low. Eats the mortars. Azerite also too low to stay in the fight. The bunker is melting through Cattle. Forced to retreat. The Punisher has made its way all the way to core, and WildHeart looking significantly healthier. Punisher with the solo kill on Stukov. The kill is huge. Mucker is too low. Has to retreat and port back to base. Punisher is down. Bagel is trying to zone. There's the Gust. They're trying to finish it. An interrupting marker. They get the core. And that's going to be game number 1 going over to WildHeart Esports. WildHeart Esports taking the game at the end there. The Punisher, the first and only Punisher they get, being utilized to finally push on in and find the kills they need. What a play. What a play. Hello, Zaravan. 5 kills to 6. A very low kill game. And one of those kills from WildHearts was basically the Punisher seeing Banana Rage and just going, you know what? F this guy in particular. And just going right in and just soloing him. But wow. What a performance by both these teams. Chili Mountain strong from start to finish. But late game WildHeart. All those late game abilities, those high fives. The mighty Gust with Wind Tunnel. That was the big one. Seraphim for Zergling, enabling them basically just to dive in and do whatever they wanted. That was really impressive. That was really impressive. WildHeart take game number 1. Chili Mountain looking really strong this season. But if they lose this, that's going to be a little bit demotivating after last season of poor results. Can Chili Mountain put on a better performance this season? They're already looking stronger than they ever have. They just have to keep up that momentum and finally close out a game. Come stand stat. Excuse me while I take a drink. Looking good. Looking good. That is game number 1, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be getting ready to jump into game number 2 very shortly. I hope you are enjoying yourselves. For I am Tetcher. I am your caster for today. I am your CCL co-streamer caster because some people don't want to watch the main stream, so I try to offer them the alternative cast. And I hope you are enjoying yourselves. If you are, consider dropping a subscription or a donation because CCL sure as heck aren't paying me, and today's stream is not sponsored. So as such, dropping subscriptions or donations is one of the best ways to help. The other best way to help is to share this stream, share it to your friends who might still like Heroes Esports, share it on Reddit or Twitter, get a couple more people in here, and that's a good way to try and encourage some more people to subscribe, higher viewership, more chance of a subscription. That is the best way to support. The best way to support is to be vocal and talk about the stream, and if you enjoy the casting, talk about that, and try and raise awareness, because even if it doesn't raise awareness for CCL to bring me on, I can still use that level of support and publicity to talk to people from other companies and other games. The best thing you can do as a fan to support your content creator is to be vocal about liking them. Simple as that. We have our next map. It is going to be Towers of Doom. And this is chosen by WildHeart Esports, meaning that we did have Chili Mountain opt for first pick. As they did lose the last map, they got the option of first pick or map pick. Very sensible. First pick has a slightly higher statistical win rate. This is why we are seeing. Excuse me. But of course, if you don't want to, if you're antisocial like me and don't want to just talk on public social medias about the Tetcher cast, then if you have a little bit of expendable income, that is incredibly appreciated. Subscriptions, donations, everything is appreciated. Every cast I do, and I will be casting every CCL game, will be available on youtube.com/Tetcher. And if you're watching on YouTube right now, you will know that the games were available live on twitch.tv/Tetcher. Every other week, I cast the games as they are happening in CCL. On the alternate weeks to those, I will still be casting the games on Twitch, but they will be not on the CCL day so that I can get other stuff done on the weekends. So it is appreciated. FBA on, thank you very much for the follow. So make sure that you tune in week after next on the weekend for when I will be casting the next games. I'll also be casting tomorrow, obviously. But week after next, I'll be casting on actual CCL days. But make sure you follow this channel and turn on the notifications to see when I cast next week's games. They will not be on the weekend they are happening. They will be at some point during the week after that. So make sure that you drop those follows to find out when those are happening. Basically, it's just so I can have some of my weekend, because I'm not getting paid for this. The support is amazing, but it's to the point where I still need time to do stuff on my weekends, so every bit of support does count. It's a good time to be a Heroes Esports fan right now, with so much Heroes Esports out in the world. CCL Season 2 is back. Storm Division is reaching its conclusion. WildHeart Esports and Heavy Impact in the finals of that. We have the wonderful Masters Clash EU happening. Heroes Lounge will be returning soon with their new season, Division 1+. DreamHack have returned and are running a DreamHack Heroes of the Storm tournament. The first sign-ups for their qualifiers are already open, so make sure that you go pay attention to that, because that is awesome. Show them that they are right to keep supporting Heroes. We really need like just as many teams signed up for that as possible to show them that it is worth their time, and then people have actually got to show up and watch the stream. Because watch all these things. Show Heroes Esports that it is still worth the investment. As we jump into series number 2, let's get this going as Medivh is banned away. Game number 2 of Series 2. WildHeart Esports 1-0 up. Starting off, the Hogger getting banned away as well. Hogger great on this map. Mercenaries are very important here, so removing the big Merc Hogger. Very sensible. Hogger has some of the best camp clear in the game, potentially the best. Chromie going to be taken out as well. If we don't count Bribe Heroes, of course. Chromie gone from action. She was very strong last game. Very reasonable removal here. Sonya, Uther, Lucio, Cassia. These are our usual expected bans. See Mei taken out, though. WildHeart a little bit scared of that Mei. As such, Uther immediately first picked by Banana Rage, but of course this could be swapped to Cattle as the game goes on. Lucio and Sonya, though, right away for WildHeart. The high priority picks here. Very sensible. Sonya is strong. Hogger, the go-to Sonya counter, has been removed. Uther actually has a pretty reasonable matchup versus Sonya, but it's not the best, and obviously that's not an off-lane matchup. That's in team fights, just bonkers. She stops spinning. There's Cassia once again. Chili Mountain sticking with their usual stuff. D.Va as well. Chili Mountain really sticking to their guns so far. They still have the option to run that Uther main tank or support. Plenty of potential here. WildHeart, they should probably ban out the Stukov, prevent the double supports. Or at least lessen the chance of it. They don't. They ban Diablo. Lucio versus Diablo is an interesting matchup. Lucio used to be hard countered by Diablo, but honestly with high 5 these days, Lucio kinda has a really good matchup versus Diablo. The problem is, Lucio on this map wants to be interrupting rotations, and that requires him to be wall riding quite a lot, especially in the early game, meaning that for a while, Diablo will still give Lucio a really rough time. Chili Mountain now. They banned the Stukov. Interesting. Stukov Lucio, still a good double support. Even without one of them being tank, it's still solid. WildHeart now. Main tank slash whatever they consider to be a main tank, because WildHeart are very quote-unquote wild with that. Malfurion. And Falstad. Gives them a little bit of global. Falstad was really good last game. They've gone for that double support still. They're just trying to remove things that go with the Uther. They've removed basically all the good supports that go with Uther. They could still Brightwing here, Chili Mountain. But I'm not sure that's really the way they want to go. I think we'll just end up seeing this Uther as a main support now. Maiev. And we don't. We see Ana. So they are going with main tank Uther. Offlane D.Va. 4-man Maiev. Very interesting. and WildHeart. They have Gust, which is good against the Maiev, but that's still a very scary lineup. How do you deal with that? All they have left is their front line. And they have some very squishy backlines. How do they protect them? It's basically just had to be a real tank game for WildHeart. They don't. They go Urel. I was going to say maybe an ETC to just knock people away, but in this case, no. That is going to be a main tank Sonya with off-lane Urel. And Sonya does not offer any peeling really at all. But Urel does. Falstad and Lucio do. They may be relying on the fact that everyone can stay alive and go hard onto the hard engage. This might be a Hinterlands game, but if they do, they're running it into Uther with Divine Shield. This is going to be interesting. This is going to be a really interesting game. Both these teams have set themselves up with very peculiar drafts, both of them leaning quite heavily towards that double support. Ana and Uther on the one side is really scary, especially with the potential for Nano Boost Maiev or Nano Boost Cassia both being really strong. On the other side, Malfurion is still really tough, especially with Lucio. Speed Boost Twilight Dream is actually terrifying. But they have really limited themselves in terms of their hard engage. They've got that Sonya, which is maybe going to, I expect, going to go leap. But that Wrath of the Berserker is going to keep Sonya alive. We'll have to see where they go. They've got Urel, which is going to be a lot of extra CC. Everyone on their team has some kind of CC. Let's see if they can make it work. Let's go. Hello, Zotti TV in the chat. Let's get this going. On the left, it is WildHeart Esports. Zergling on the Urel. Pick Kid on Sonya. Weary Day on Lucio. Unaverted on the Falstad. And Buds on that Malfurion. Whereas on the right-hand side, it shall be Chili Mountain with Banana H on the Ana. Banana Azerite will be playing the Cassia. We have Maka playing that Maiev. Cattle on the Uther, and Bergolt will be on that Diva. Q build once again for the Uther. Not going to go for those stun cooldown reductions. I think I actually would prefer the stun cooldown reductions here. A little bit of a better matchup versus Sonya and Maiev here. Tether pulls in Malfurion, who drops the root. There's the sleep, and that allows Buds to get away. Counter sleep from Banana Rage there, able to also get the retreat out for Maka. Tether onto Weary Day. Lots of damage. This is exactly what Chili Mountain are going to do. Just diving into the backline. And until level 10, that's actually going to be a problem for WildHeart. There's going to be a lot of issues being gained here. Now, Furion currently left alone in the mid lane, just soaking away, and the rotation is finally going to come out. With Lucio, the rotation of WildHeart, especially with Falstad coming in with them, is actually going to be really nice. They're going to be able to rotate very quickly here. Full slam build for Sonya, no changes there. Mini stuns for Zergling. Bergolt making the most of that full metal, just trying to out-sustain the Urel. Just bully her out that way. Both these heroes are more than capable of double soaking, but it's going to be the four-man's double soaking. A little bit of a safer play there for them. Neither one wants to risk losing their offlaner here. Both teams getting themselves a siege camp. Piling on a little bit of pressure. All these talents are basically standard across the board here. Nothing really worth talking about, other than the Uther, Silver Touch that we've already mentioned. So, a little bit of Azerite damage, unaverted. Trades out though. There's a little bit of counter. Siege pressure, much better for Chili Mountain Heroes. They've brought the entire team down and cleared out WildHearts, where their camp was grabbed a little bit earlier. One Sapper in, 2, and 3. One tower and the entire front wall. Pickett trading damage onto Azerite, who's playing very far forward here. Trading damage back and forth. Holy Shock now available for Uther. That gives them a lot of mana sustain. Remember, once you finish Silver Touch, you get a mana reduction on that Holy Light. So if you can get that mana reduction, combine that with the mana reduction, the mana returning that you get from Holy Shock, you actually get each time, Banana Rage, focus down, blown up, First Blood. Every single time you cast Holy Shock, once you have finished stacking Silver Touch, you actually get 5 mana back. You don't spend any mana from the Uther here, so you actually get a lot of extra sustain there, and this allows you to basically spam that on opponents while spamming your Holy Light on your team. Sorry, the Wave of Light on your team, give you a lot of extra sustain. That's the counter kill. Cattle and Azerite, the full fend coming in. Tether traded out with the root and the sleep. Picking, bullying Azerite, big spear. Both these teams are relentless, back and forth into each other, trying to find the kills. Shots already taken, traded out in top lane. 1 for 1, 36 to 36. It's all about bot lane now. Falstad's on the way, does have fly. Cassia will not. And that will likely force the retreat. The more standard percentage damage coming in from Maiev. This is the usual these days. Weary Day backs away. A little bit of extra burst damage, really solid. Means it doesn't really matter if you hard engage onto a tank or just the backline. You can get a good chunk of damage out of it. Marker tethers in, but eats the spear again. That's going to be the channel. Going over to WildHeart Esports. They gain the momentum. Shots dealt over. 36 to 32 in favor of WildHeart Esports at the start of this game. Mind-numbing agent coming in for the Ana. Mixing it up here. Not going with a full sleep dart build. Uther, hand of protection. No cheeky Guardian of Ancient Kings or anything like that. Just going to stick with that cleanse. Very helpful against this particular team. Secret weapon for Falstad. It's all pretty standard across the board here. Kid backs away. Tries a shot or two, but not going to make anything happen from it. Azerite, big tether from Maka, pulling them through the root, escapes the root himself, able to turn that fight on its head. Both teams trying to just clear out each other's sappers here, but Unaverted got slept once again, meaning Chili Mountain continue to gain momentum here again with this push. The offlaners have finally started to double soak. Tether onto Pit Kid, but it is Sonya. Here comes Lucio from above. Zergling from the side, cleansed out Maka, but Maka slowed by Zergling, trapped in the corner, taken out. Cattle body blocked by Weary Day, and once again WildHeart taking massive momentum and able to win yet another fight. Great flank by Zergling. WildHeart once again showing that they have these weird drafts in their pocket. This is standard for them, though. We can call it weird, but it keeps working. And it's different every time. Another channel coming in for WildHeart, continuing to gain their momentum. Pickett zoning one side, Weary Day zoning the other, and Zergling zoning the third side. They protect every angle, guarantee the shots, and in the meantime, Falstad was able to make sure they don't miss any XP. Makes their way up to top lane, soaks out, while Zergling helped out the team. Unaverted flies down to rejoin the team. They push a little bit mid, and then Zergling will head back to top. Rotation interruption being thought about by Cattle, but doesn't want to risk dying. Banana Rage was in a little bit of danger there. Didn't land the sleep dart. Holy Shock was being forced to be used to demount people. With level 10 on the board for both teams. Tether, again, only on Sonya, who just runs it down. Doesn't care about the Tether. Just going to chase them through. It is a Wrath of the Berserker, by the way. No leap. We do still have Gust and Twilight Dream, though, on the other side. Warden's Cage, Nano Boost, of course. Divine Shield, Ball, Lightning. Solid stuff across the board here. Pickett lands the spear. Azerite eats some damage, keeps that armor up, though, keeps that avoidance going. Barrel roll, forces them in, sleep onto Weary Day, but holds it. The Warden's Cage. Not finding too much. The idea here, Warden's Cage, to try and keep them all in that center and then just set up for a nano boost on Maiev to wombo everyone down. Ball Lightning also will get maximum value, especially in the late game. Late game, Chili Mountain's comp is going to be absolutely terrifying. Right now, though, WildHeart, their rotational ability and their actual just fight control is giving them a lot of rough times. Bottom altar in 10 seconds. They were thinking about seeing if they could maybe pop Bear Gulp first, but they can't do so. More team comms we can't listen to as we see the rest of WildHeart making their way down. They're a little bit late down here. Weary Day, though, is going to be the one to run it in. They get the slow onto Azerite, forcing the play. They try to focus him down. Divine Shield is burned. There's Gust, but the Azerite is suddenly very isolated. It's a nano boost on that Cassia as Buds is getting absolutely chunked. Nano boosted Cassia eating through the team here. Zergling on the backline ends up just clearing out the sappers. Pickett eats a lot of damage, sniped by Azerite, who's cleaning up here. Looks for one one more. Arna Defender is burned. Tries to finish the job, but Zergling too tanky. They will, however, begin pushing this in. They got the shots, 28-32, still in favor of WildHeart. It's Chili Mountain trying to take the bell tower, and they will finish it. Gaining the momentum there. The Divine Shield nano-boosted Cassia. Turning that fight on its head. Just deleting Buds. Removing that Malfurion off the map, preventing the value from going over to WildHeart. Very smart, very solid, very scary. We have the stun removing darts here, smelling salts for the Ana. Cattle trying to hold, he's got well met. Damage reduction. Zoning for the team, doing a good job of it. No escape for Sonya, movement speed. Currently 55 stacks on Azerite. Sleep Dart attempted from downtown for Banana Rates, trying to set them up. And it looks like, with Siege Cap still not available, WildHeart's strategy is to ignore everything. And just push elsewhere, see if they can find a kill. There are no kills to be found though, so instead they're just going to push in top lane. They're going to get the camp here. They're no way in hell going to get bot back from this. Sorry, I didn't mute that in time. Oh, I hope that didn't pull anything. Double altar phase. Cassia and Ana were waiting to see if anyone else made their way back down bot, but instead it's a full engage. Cattle's focus. Divine Shield has to be burned. Tether pulls them in. Zerg takes a lot of damage. High five. Keeps them alive. Gust and Twilight Dream, though, splits the team in two. Mech is burned and Bergholt's in trouble. Fully trying to retreat. The Root zones the team in two, and this is going to be a double cap. Going over to WildHeart. They don't get their bot back, but they do get 6 shots out of it. They come out way ahead there. WildHeart making the plays they need to do. Really showing up well. Chili Mountain, though. If Cassia and Ana had been there in time, they didn't know where WildHeart was. The unpredictable rotation. Chili Mountain still looking solid. They've shown in these 5v5 fights they have potential. Bot bell tower regained. Evening up the structures once again. 32-22, 10-shot lead for WildHeart. Once again, Sappers coming in. So far, Chili Mountain have won every single duel of the Sappers. I don't know why we're zooming in on that. There are 3 altars left to pick up, coming up to pick up next phase there. D.Va and Maiev both soaking. This is a 5-man push bot lane, meaning finally WildHeart will actually win one of these phases, and they will be able to get their Sappers in. They're going to try to take out as much of the front wall as possible to mean the Sappers don't lose any value. Exploding onto an almost dead fort, wasting 1. The other 2 will make their way onto the bell tower. D.Va is still soaking while this is happening. Notice we'll get level 16 for Chili Mountain, evening them up in terms of talents. Extra slow, crippling hammer on Falstad this time. Not going to go with that afterburner. Keeping the pressure on. We have that giant slayer for Sonya. This is what really makes her just so scary these days. Kick off, diving deep, weary day, trying to chase down Azerite. They know that Azerite is the target. Instead, they just turn their attention onto Maiev, though, with the entire team split off and the sleep from Buds preventing the escape. WildHeart gain momentum. Chase it a little bit further. That crippling hammer nano boost was burned. It will expire out without too much value being gained, though. Bell tower gonna be raced. Yorel's gonna delay D.Va. They want all of these shots. They want 15 shots onto their opponent's core. And with Azerite down, they may just get it. Yorel chases off D.Va. They get the bell tower. Pitkid drops low, but tanks through. Zergling zoning out Bergholt. Mid-altar. Grabbed. 5 shots. Top left, pretty secure for WildHeart. 10 shots. If they can get this right, that's 15 shots. Bergholt doesn't get the self-destruct. Does a player, does have the good to go. That's a really good pull in with the tether into the Warden's Cage, but it's not enough. 15 shots onto the core of Chili Mountain. 7 health left. Make it 3. The boss goes over to WildHeart. And WildHeart are snowballing this game number 2. 9 kills to 3 right now. Bot going to be reclaimed by Chili Mountain. Top grabbed by WildHeart. Keep them running. Keep them chasing. Don't give them time to fight us. Threaten the triple cap as often as possible. As long as there's a threat of a triple cap, Chili Mountain can't fight because that is how they lose. Sappers gonna be raced in here. They know, but it's too late. D.Va came in. Yrel is not here though. 5 versus 4 in favor of Chili Mountain. Wanting to try and make any play, a play. They can't do it, but they do kill the Sappers, preventing lethal. Now they have to reclaim top. Immediately, Falstad flying down to bot. 2 sets of Sappers available down here. Beltar can be raced again. Look at this. Chili Mountain, they know. They have to take fights before 20. If they let WildHeart take 20, this could be over. But WildHeart are too fast. They're on the map, rotating too quickly. They can't seem to find the opportunity. Another set of Sappers is being grabbed. Double, Alter Phase, Sleep Dart. If they can kill Zergling early, no, high 5 denies it. Chili Mountain, they have to make a play. Just under half a level away from level 20 are WildHeart. If 20 hits, then one of these ults is almost certainly going over to WildHeart Esports. Chili Mountain will be on the back foot. Honestly, WildHeart, their best play might just be to let this go and not fight at all. 20 is just around the corner. They could try and delay. But it looks like they're just going to let bot go and put all their attention onto mid. They're waiting for level 20. It's just around the corner and the minion wave has just arrived. That's level 20 for WildHeart as they push in, deleting Uther. They take out Beargods, who will actually get back in the mech. He'll survive, but there's Gust. They see Weary Day running as fast as they can up to the channel. If they get this in, it's over. Falstad picks up the extra flight, but no one is in position for the interrupt. Weary Day gets the channel, and WildHeart Esports win a very convincing game. That is going to be 2-0 in its best of 5, 1 game away from the series for WildHeart Esports. WildHeart, very convincing from start to finish there. Looking solid. There are a couple moments for Chili Mountain, but overall, WildHeart really seemed to have that game under control from start to finish there. The Sonya working out there, getting just a little bit less damage than Falstad. 49,000 for Falstad, 47,000 for Sonya. Really keeping up there, giving them that second damage dealer, which is exactly what we were talking about before. When you have that solo range damage, kind of have to make sure your offlaner, unless you're 100% committing to a hyper carry, you kind of have to make sure your offlane is able to keep up a little bit to give yourself some extra DPS. Sonya was perfect for that, but in this case, in the 4-man, just committing to blowing up everyone. Nicely done. That is game number 2. Going over to WildHeart Esports. 1 game away from victory now. Full slam build Sonya with the poison spear. They go for no escape. Make sure that Sonya can keep up, keep doing DPS. Makes sense. Very sensible build. Alrighty. We're down to game number 3. Can Chili Mountain start off this season with a map win? Can they start off with a series win? If they could get the reverse sweep, it's possible. But they gotta step up. Gotta put on that performance. It is doable though. We'll see if they're able to pull it off. We're going to be getting ready for game number 3 very shortly. The main stream will be going on to a break. We won't, because I'm still feeling under the weather after my surgery, but I am here to cast. And as such, I will instead be talking to you about the wonderful world of statistics. Hello, Lana. How you doing? Hope you're doing fantastic. Main stream's back in 5 minutes. If I have more than 5 minutes, if she's put that up and then take it down again after a couple seconds. We can fill for 5 minutes, though, as the mainstream disappears. We can talk to you about our matches tomorrow. We'll be casting live tomorrow as well. Storm Esports will be taking their match versus Granite Gaming. Granite Gaming, they had a little bit of a roster swap as well. They were able to hold on to quite a few of their players. After dropping their entire roster, they held on to all of their Swedes. So Granite Gaming We'll see how well that works out for them. They dropped all their roster and then picked up Skooks, Van Grotter, and Heading, who they had on the roster beforehand. It was a very peculiar play. We'll see if it works out for them when the games come around. That is going to be our first series tomorrow. Our second one, Oxygen versus 30k. Now, that was a very exciting matchup. We're hopefully going to have a really solid one there. These two teams had some really nice rivalries during Season 1. In fact, Oxygen Esports, they were one of the teams who had a really solid run through the playoffs, with 30k very nearly making it there. But in terms of their matchups, Oxygen Esports, they kind of dominated, as we already know. They just didn't lose a single series until week 5. But put on really convincing plays every single time. But 30k in week 2 went 3-1 versus Oxygen. It wasn't out of the question, but they could have maybe tried to make their way back in or make some kind of comeback there. In the preseason tournament, 30k 2-0'd Oxygen Esports in Season 1. In this season, 30k won the preseason tournament. Let's see if they can get that momentum back, if they can turn it back into their favor. There's a lot of potential for these teams. There should be some interesting matches, so make sure to tune back in tomorrow. Those will be happening at the same time. You can see they're 4 p.m. EST, and they will be 9 p.m. British time, which will be 10 p.m. European time. Excuse me. So, statistics-wise, talking about WildHeart Esports and Chili Mountain, as we prepare to jump back in for our next series once the mainstream gets back. They haven't even gone on the break yet. We have plenty of time to wait for that. They haven't even started the break yet. So, wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Sorry, I had to get up my statistics pages. So, currently, the Stukov not being shown as much as we maybe would have expected for WildHeart, as they lent on it quite a bit. If we look at WildHeart's Season 1 statistics, this is what we're going to get the best clues from, because it looks like their drafting has actually changed very, very little from last season. 22 games on Stukov. In this case, the break has finally started. Gives them a lot of pressure onto that, but in this case, they're leaning on that Lucio quite heavily, which makes a lot of sense. Lucio this season has really jumped up in priority. Last season, they only played 1 Lucio game, so it's good to see that they've adjusted from last season to begin picking that up a lot more often. D.Va was also a big, heavy pickup for WildHeart, along with Uther. This time, really kind of ignoring those. They've looked at Uther, but it's been Chili Mountain who've been picking up the Uther a lot more. So as such, WildHeart have been forced off it. Yrel, though, that's their 4th highest picked hero. That has shown up quite a few times here. 12 games, 75% win rate. That is a 9-3 win-loss ratio. That gives them a lot of potential, and we already know just how scary that Yrel is. We saw it in the last game. They're very happy to keep leaning on it. A good Yrel player is kind of metaless. You don't need to be in a Yrel meta to play a good Yrel. I am not a good Yrel, which is why I don't play Yrel, even when she's in the meta. I'm working on it, though. I'm getting a little bit better. Feels good, feels good. On the other side, for Chili Mountain, we have a look at their season statistics. Of course, take these with a grain of salt, because their roster has changed a lot more than the side of... Actually, sorry, it's a lot more than the side of WildHeart's has. If we look at them, they also lent on the Stukov. Stukov was the top pick these days. At D.Va, very sensible. This has carried over from season to season. They lent a lot on D.Va, lent a lot on Rexar. There was a lot they did here to try and mix stuff up. They have one of the highest hero pools in the league, but it really just didn't work out in their favor overall. They just kind of got bullied out quite a bit. I mean, if we have a look at their hero win rates, the best hero win rates they had, Varian with 50%, that's one of the best win rates they had. They technically have 100% win rates on Alexstrasza, Gazlo, Hogger, Medivh, and Mephisto. Those are the heroes they technically had 100% win rate on, but they was over 1 game. The highest win rate hero they have with more than 1 game is Zeratul with a 66.67 win rate last season. That gave them a lot of extra value, gave them a lot of extra pressure, and brought them back in. Now, we have a look at their Season 2 win rate, which again, they did win their first series. We can see that they are still leading on D.Va quite heavily, which we are seeing in these matchups, and also Falstad. But Falstad has been very heavily focused this series by WildHeart, stealing that away from them so far. Brightwing is also a big lead for them, as is Cassia. Cassia, 100% win rate before this matchup, now is on a 50% win rate as it sits at 2-2. So very solid to see there. The Varian in this season, 0% win rate so far. Not been able to pick up the plays they want with that. They played a little bit of Tyrael as well. Lots of teams played the Tyrael in the Icebreaker tournament, but has picked it up. In case nobody told Shirt today, love how it looks. Well, thank you. I like it. It's from a charity shop. It's really good. I like it. It's really like thin material. Like it's that stretchy like jersey material that Esports jerseys are made out of. It's super comfortable. Absolutely love it. Big fan. Glad you like it, Ulada. Hope you're having a good time. Mainstream looks like it'll be back in like 25 minutes, and then they'll be chatting for like 30 minutes, and then we'll be able to get into game number 3. If you're watching, before we go further into stats, please consider dropping a subscription or a donation if you're watching on Twitch. You can do that by hitting that donation, that bits link in the chat, that donation link below the stream, or that subscription link above the donation link but still below the stream, unless you're on mobile, in which case it's somewhere. I never remember where that stuff is. But drop that. I don't get paid to do this. The stream isn't sponsored. It's not supported by CCL. In fact, they seem to do everything in their power to make the clean feed very difficult to use sometimes. But we do try our best, and we do cast as best we can. So if you enjoy it, then showing that support is very appreciated. You can if you're watching on YouTube, there are donation links in the description as well, but you can also hit that join button below the stream. You can hit subscribe to see exactly when we show when these games go up. And you can also hit that join button to become a member, where you'll get access to polls and you'll get polls to access, words are hard, access to polls and certain posts, which will show you a little bit more of the behind the scenes stuff, and also you'll get more esports and more of a say in what my channel does, potentially earlier access to certain videos like perhaps Heroes Global Quiz replays or any of the more sketch-based stuff that I do from time to time. Plenty of ways to support the channel, plenty of ways to support me, because I'm a poor boy and I make very little money. Feels good. Alrighty. We'll be getting ready. Looks like the timer is up, so the main stream will be back as it is. So we'll hopefully get our map bans very shortly. Speaking of which, I do need to send Jules a thank you that she was able to get map bans sorted for the clean feed, which is really, really cool. They didn't have that last season, and it was an absolute pain in the butt. So I'm really glad they actually did that this season. Really nice of them. So, excuse me. We're going to be getting ready to jump into that as soon as we can. And when we are there, we will have game number 3 between WildHeart Esports and Chili Mountain. Remember, WildHeart currently 2-0 up in this best of 5 series. 1 game away from victory. So we'll be preparing to jump into that very shortly. That's why it's always weird to me that they go on a break after 2 games instead of 3, because we could just have that series cleaned out. But I guess the idea is to have a break after every 2 games, so if there's a game 5, the players are rested. I don't know. I guess also having a break, and then you have a better chance of having 2 games after a break if you do it after 2 games than if you do it after 3. I guess it makes more sense. It's just super annoying when we're currently 2-0 in both our series so far, and we just end after the break. Either way, let's talk a little bit more about statistics as we move on in. Maps we have seen so far, Infernal was solid. We actually do have our map coming in, so good to see. We're going to be seeing Tomb of the Spider Queen as our 3rd map, again selected by WildHeart Esports. Chili Mountain usually banning out Tomb of the Spider Queen, so this is why we'll be seeing that picked up by WildHeart. Previous season, Chili Mountain only had 1 game on Tomb of the Spider Queen and lost it. So this doesn't tell us too much. This is in fact just a solid map choice. WildHeart doing their research here versus Chili Mountain. In Season 1, Tomb of the Spider Queen for WildHeart Esports was 8 games played, 62.5% win rate, was one of their most played maps tied with Infernal Shrine, so they actually put themselves in a good position there. And in Season 2, of course, they have much less games played. They did, however, play one of their games on Tomb, but of course they lost it because they lost their pre-season game. So we're going to be waiting for the draft to get set up, and we'll be jumping into that hopefully very shortly. Tomb of the Spider Queen is the map. Again, we'll be seeing very heavy on rotations here. The heroes that can 4-man soak are going to be very important, as we do have our draft, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get this going. Remember, please consider a subscription, a donation, anything like that. But the biggest thing you can do is to share this stream with your friends. Talk about it in CCL threads on Reddit. Talk about it on Twitter. Make sure that people know that there is an alternate to the main stream and that you, if you do, like it. And that it might be worth watching. Starting off with Chromie and Hogger as the bands while I take a quick drink. Chilly Mountain. Excuse me. Removing out the Uther. It's pretty standard bans across the board here. It's another really good Sonya map. Do WildHeart remove it or do they pick it up themselves? Because so far, Chilly Mountain have lent very heavily on D.Va. D.Va can do okay into Sonya once level 7 hits, but if you're waiting for level 7 to win a matchup, you might be having problems. They're just going to bat it out. Remove Sonya from play. But that's going to be an immediate Lucio early pick. Banana H is one of the best Lucios in the world. Fight me, bro. They are so good. So seeing that picked up here. It's a steal away from WildHeart, who've been leading on it very heavily today. It's a big, hefty pickup for them because they know Banana H can play it. This is smart. This is safe. D.Va stolen away this time, though, by WildHeart. Zergling getting that D.Va. They still know how good it is at soaking. The disruption it offers, and Medivh, not banned out, is immediately picked up. Are we going to see a 100% win rate Medivh in CCL in our first day of play? Let's find out. Medivh usually sits up there with Uther as the most banned heroes. In this case, Uther snuck through a couple times. Mei, very good matchup into Medivh. Dropping those blizzards at the end of those portals can really shut down portal value. It's a solid plan here. Azerite, once again, that Cassia, it worked so well last time. WildHeart, what do you ban out against this? There's not a huge amount of big, high-priority options left. They're going to ban the Deathwing. Medivh to Deathwing, not the best matchup. He could, of course, leyline seal it and gain quite a few stacks off it. But D.Va doesn't offer a huge amount of percentage damage. So just removing that Deathwing makes a lot of sense. Diablo taken away by Chilly Mountain. Still not wanting to run Diablo into Lucio. WildHeart now with their next picks. They get Malfurion and Zul'jin. Very cool to see. Zul'jin just try bully out that Mei. Very fun. That gives them a lot of consistent damage. Medivh and Malfurion are really good healers to go with Zul'jin. Burst healing is actually kind of bad on Zul'jin, so you want him to be at low health for as often as possible, so healing over time works really nicely. The burst protection that Medivh offers, though, going to give them a really good setup here. Rexxar going to be coming in here, just a safe offlaner. You get some extra CC there. The bear will be 3 stacks for unaverted, but it's also more CC. Sylvanas, great push, great assassin, gives them a lot of value. Wailing Arrow can really give rough at times against Medivh. There's the potential for mind control, but I think it's very unlikely. Because dropping a mind control and then having your target just immediately get force of will is going to lose a lot of value. As we see WildHeart finish out with main tank Zul. There's an extra body on the board in the form of Rexxar. But you're against 4 ranged. Actually, every hero here except for Misha is ranged. Pickett's playing very brave here. He's going to have to get really stuck in. He doesn't have a Lucio or any movement speed. This is going to have to be a very portal-reliant build. Very interesting. I'm not sure about the Zul, but the Zul Jin wins me over quite a bit. We'll see if it works out for them. I'm really interested to see if this works out. The Zul I'm a little scared for, but they have the Medivh to help them engage with it. They have percentage damage or even just a lot of avoidance with that Zul. It's very tanky once you build it in with full tank build. It's going to be hard to deal with. They can even go damage, healing reduction at later levels. The damage reduction you get with that Grim Scythe build. There's potential. As we're going to be heading in, ladies and gentlemen, to game number 3. Potentially the last game of this best of 5 series. On the left, currently 2-0 up, WildHeart Esports. Weary Day on Malfurion, Unaverted on Zul Jin, Pitkid on Zul, Zergling on D.Va, and Buds will be playing that Medivh. 1 game away from victory. Let's see if WildHeart Esports can close this series out. Chilly Mountain will be on the right-hand side. On the other hand, need to reverse sweep to get themselves back in here. Banana H on that Lucio. Where are they going? Beargult. Ah, they're minion blocking. Beargult on the Rexar. Maka on Sylvanas. Cattle on May and Azerite. Going to be playing that Cassia. They're going to go for a minion block here. They want to fight closer to their towers, so they block the minions. You can see it's fighting closer to their side here. It's going to give them a much easier time soaking in without just having to walk up, get rooted by Zul, or stacked on by Zul Jin. Good blind, by the way, from the Cassia. Excuse me. Liquid cooling coming in for the D.Va here. Nice rotational interrupt. Malfurion's actually really strong in this map for that reason. Pickett able to escape, drops the root. Little bit of attack speed reduction, gets a force of will, and Unaverted runs down Maka, very nearly gets the kill, very nearly dies themselves. Both teams trading back and forth here. Level 1 talents. The ones that are of interest are, of course, the ferociousness for the Zul Jin. Getting those extra stacks, really important these days if you want to stack up quickly. We're going to see that slow cooldown reduction on the shield. So Zul now slows when he auto-attacks people who he uses his bone armor in melee range of. And also he gets cooldown reduction every time they do. The liquid cooling for D.Va is going to give them a lot of extra sustain on this. Siege Camp grabbed by WildHeart Esports very quickly. No trouble for them. Big focus onto the bear. The bear lives, but that stacks for Zul Jin. 3 stacks already. Really working their way up there quickly. Try to set themselves up. Zergling continues to pressure. Portal on for Weary Day. Just making sure they stay safe. As long as Weary Day stays safe, there's a pretty good chance that they can keep that Zul Jin safe. Knock back onto Zergling, caught in the blizzard. Self-destruct is available, but is held. Very sensible. The route from Weary Day means Zergling gets out. Hold on to that self-destruct. You can see D.Va, though, realizing there's a good chance that they will lose this matchup against that Rexar due to the range advantage, and there's lots of extra stuns. They instead go very heavily onto the crowd, onto the self-destruct build here with nuclear option. Pitkid goes down, though. Went too deep for Cattle. First blood goes over to Chilly Mountain. Zergling is able to retrieve most of the gems, though. But D.Va, knowing they might lose this, they go for liquid cooling. Sustain without having to actually fight the bear. Very silly to fight the bear. The bear is strong. Instead, that nuclear option means they'll have self-destruct as often as possible, meaning it's good extra damage for the team, which, if they don't stack Medivh, they will be lacking. It's a very sensible setup here. Clearing out best they can. Cattle turning in. Neither team has enough for a turn in yet, but both are close. Bruiser's grabbed on both sides. Lucio soloing their Bruiser at the moment. Will need some help with that eventually. Actually, he's not doing it. He's not starting doing the cap. Actually, he was. It was capped, sorry. He killed it, but it had been killed earlier, but not capped. They delayed it so it fights at the towers. My mistake, chat. Self-destruct is burned with nuclear option. Gets a lot of structure damage, helps weaken out the Bruiser cap. Here comes the root onto Maka. Weary Day trying to keep everyone else alive. Zul Jin a little bit zoned away here. Icing, Blizzard turning the fight though. It's a big wraparound from Pitkid and Zergling. They force everyone out, Banana Rage barely surviving. Big dive from Zergling, using the force of will of Medivh. And that's going to be a pickup for WildHeart Esports, grabbing their second kill of the game as they push their way in. They'll try and set themselves up with the first fort. The self-destruct weakened the Bruiser Camp enough that even fighting on the towers, they are able to not only take the front wall, they're able to take the fight. Banana Age 1 axe away from dying. They very nearly take the fort. They do lose Pitkin again. There's the power of Blizzard Cattle, capitalizing on that Mei into Medivh matchup. Sylvanas, by the way, Azerite, going for a little bit of a different build this time. Going for the Festering Wound. Sorry, marker on it. Go for Festering Wounds. So single target burst with Q. So this will be Festering Wounds. Q for Spell Power. Bites the Banshee Queen into Windrunner at later levels to get those double haunting waves, allowing Sylvanas to dive the backline a lot more effectively. This might be more punishing for Zul'jin or for Medivh. We'll see how that works for them. Lucio, going for a reverse amp at level 7. A little bit of extra damage, a little bit of extra slow. Keep everyone locked down. Cooldown reduction on the stun for Misha as well. Rexar getting a little bit of extra CC. They're really just trying to zone and sustain as best they can. Webweaver's first for Chili Mountain. They're trying to capitalize on the death of that Zul earlier, and as such, they're putting a lot of pressure onto mid. Top, also going to be one of the targets. Webweaver already nearly killed in top, though. Good job by Pitkin. D.Va doing a great job down here, clearing up. Medivh is stacked. Great job by Buds. Puts them solidly in the lead when it comes to stacking talent. 17 on Zul'jin, by the way. Zul'jin at level 7 went for that ferocity. 40% bonus attack speed on Berserker. Sorry, 40% bonus attack speed increase. Gotta be clear on that. Those are very different things. Kill on the bear. It's not big, but it's still extra value. His level 10 is hit just a bit earlier. Leyline Seal. Blizzard does not find anything. Twilight Dream, Micro Missiles, Tazdingo, Poison Nova. These are the heroics on the other side. They do go for Mind Control. They want those bursts. They want those blow-ups. Mind Control, Ice Wall. Potential for isolating individual members there. Ball Lightning, High 5. No surprise there. We're seeing those unleash the boars. 19 stacks. 4 unaverted. Working their way forward. Working their way through the team. Keeping it together for now. Smashing their way through. Trying to focus down Pitkin. Get the stun. Pitkin focused. Drops the Poison Nova. Tries to get to the portal. Gets out. Pitkin barely able to get away from danger. It's unaverted. Picks up yet another kill on that bear. 21 stacks. Combining the micro missile slows there. Really helping unaverted get stacked up here. More than enough for returning so far. For WildHeart Esports, they just haven't been able to find their opportunity yet. 4 gems away for Chili Mountain. Marker's looking to turn that into 0. Marker, in fact, turning in 17 gems here. Pickett not able to interrupt those. And there's so many gems being held by WildHeart. Lucio, Sylvanas, Azerite, all being so annoying here. Creating so much pressure. Marker forced to back away. Azerite gonna get rooted. That might be 8 gems lost. Icewall buys time, but that Twilight Dream is still too much. Ball Lightning splits the team in two as the retreat comes out. Leyline Seal gonna be turn the focus onto Marker, but they don't have the follow-up yet. They only really have one hard engage, and it's gonna be Roots from Malfurion or Zul. But with those kills, we will finally see a turn-in. Going over to WildHeart Esports. 23 being turned in by Unaverted, and that will secure the objective. He waited a little bit longer just to make sure that D.Va could start that Bruiser Camp so that they get that pushing with their objective. That's Webweavers and the Bruiser Camp. This is great value for WildHeart. Counter on the other side, though. Chili Mountain, realizing this was happening, they get their own Bruiser Camp, doing some counter push of their own. This gives them the spell armor, gives them the opportunity to fight. And fight they might want to. Pre-13 here could be their opportunity. Pick it. Just push it up. Tank it through right now. Couple extra skeletons as well, really making this hard to defend. Mid fort will fall. There is level 13 though, half a level away from Chili Mountain. Make their way forward. Mind control. Onto Pit Kid. Ice Wall. That's going to potentially wait out the portal. No, portal is used, as so is Force of Will. But teleporting in to take the fort shots to make sure that Pit Kid could get out. Very cool to see there. Putting the pressure on, but portal bullying here, diving in and actually just being disruptive. We might lose the mech. We do. 29 gems on Zergling. No good to go. He didn't pick that, but there's the Force of Will. Marco looks like he wanted to come back in, but Twilight Dreamfoot dissuaded that. And we see the retreat coming out of the members of WildHeart Esports. They got 1 fort out of that. D.Va with pew pew pew, by the way. Go for some out of mech combat. If you have self-destruct more often, you might as well make sure that while you're out of mech, your damage output is the maximum it could possibly be. So going with Pew 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 at level 13 instead of good to go. Means they're going to be playing very aggressively with the self-destruct, which is now up. Yeah, actually, it's a tiny bit away. It's about to be. It's so close. It's so close. You can see that bar. It's so tilting. Zul'jin now extra movement speed. Ready to run people down. We have Weaken for Zul. Really getting set up for that maximum DPS output. Sorry, no, Weaken is next level. I'm mistaken there. Weaken and Decrepify on that level. Zul'jin up to 30% movement speed. As long as he keeps hitting enemy heroes. They're making their way in with their second set of web weavers, trying to set something up here. Mid, getting cleared out by the Rexar, giving a lot of value for Chili Mountain, giving them some extra clear. Ice Wall onto Zul'jin, but can they make anything happen? Blizzard is there, unaverted in the stun, but they're not making anything happen. Mind control onto Zul, but he's able to drop the poison nova for massive damage. Azurite's on the backline against Twilight Dreamed. Buds was able to portal out. That's a root and a sleep, and Malfurion sets up the kills. Weary Day setting that up beautifully. The Bear and the Rexar are both stunned out. Zergling loses the mech. Marcus causing a lot of damage, but that's still going to be a very convincingly won fight for the side of WildHeart Esports. Zul'jin is very nearly stacked, 29 out of 30. The keep shall live, though. Do they go for boss? They are. They're going to start boss immediately with level 16 on the board. Now they have Weaken for that Zul. Divert power for D.Va. Extra area, a little bit of extra healing unaverted. Went max all in on clearing that as fast as possible, burning through most of their health in the process. Cooldown reduction on the heroic for that Medivh. Lots of high value talents here. Gonna make their way forward. Level 16, still a little bit of a way. Ooh, Grievous Throw coming in for the Zul'jin as well, by the way, on level 16. Not gonna go with the let the killing begin. Instead, no mercy. 2% maximum health damage when you hit heroes who are hit with that Grievous Throw. And of course, the attacks now ignore armor. This means the Cattle gonna eat a lot of damage here. Lots of damage being dealt, in fact. It's the boss, Precious Core. But it looks like WildHeart will back away, not willing to finish the job. Zul'jin is now stacked, though, getting that extra attack range. Very nicely done. They're going to begin working their way through. Excuse me. That's going to be a big push into the mid-wave with that siege camp. We're trying to see Chili Mountain make their way back in. They're even on talents. They want to fight. We're going with Rejuvenescia, by the way, for the Lucio. Not the usual up the frequency these days. Going to try and keep the team sustained that way. Web Weavers will be coming in for Chili Mountain. Choosing to take a very aggressive fight. You can see we have that rapid harvest for Zul now, making him so hard to kill. That's why we've been seeing these mind controls being utilized to try and isolate these kills. Ignore that team comms. We don't get that, apparently. Zergling, try to hold, try to keep it together. There's that inverting power, denying a little bit of damage, but not much. And they will back away. The Web Weaver is spawning so far back. WildHeart kind of removing most of the value there. Chili Mountain really putting on quite a good show. But WildHeart are just holding them back so well. Zergling managing to land some micro missiles onto Cattle there. They work their way through this top web weaver, leaving just bot lane to deal with. See the deny on the rotation by Chili Mountain. That's smart. If they can't take the fight, they'll instead just try and guarantee it. But root into sleep, into silence. It's a kill. Leyline Zeal splits the team in two. Self-destruct completely cuts the team in two with the self-destruct. Marker barely alive, but Zergling chasing deep. In the meantime, Cassia dies on the back. Marker is dying to poison charge. Runs him down. Zergling gets the kill. Get out the way. Cattle is trying to escape with the rest of the gems. Misses 5, but it still holds 35. The team is diving. They notice this is most of the gems of Chili Mountain, but no gems will be needed if the game ends. They make their way in. They have everyone here. They're going to try and focus down the core. They eat the entire Dark Wave from the core. Zul'jin is blasted away at it. Pitkin is tanking all the shots. Taz Dingo has been burned. Zul'jin will die, but the core is going down. There's no defense available. The Leyline bought the time, and WildHeart Esports win in a 3-0. WildHeart taking the game and the series. Chili Mountain starting off this season better than last season because they've won games in the Icebreaker Cup. But the main season, they've started off the same as last season, but they are looking quite a bit stronger. But WildHeart, with their creative drafting as usual, really showing that they are a team to be reckoned with. Second place last season and looking absolutely terrifying this season. WildHeart Esports closing out the series and are able to take a 3-0. Tying them up right now with Simplicity, previous season champions. We'll see if they're able to keep that momentum going. Very fun to see. Very solid matchup between the two teams. As ladies and gentlemen, I believe that's mostly what we have here for the end of the stream today. You see at the end, Zul'jin topping the damage numbers by an absolute mile. Smashing through just everything in their way. The power that Zul'jin does offer. And they just didn't seem to have the damage on the side to kill Zul. The Medivh Malfurion combo, still too hard to deal with. Medivh, by the way, 100% win rate in CCL. No surprise there. Everyone kind of saw that coming. And it comes down to that. Alrighty, well, in that case, that's the end. There are no interviews here. So, ladies and gentlemen, we'll bring it back to me. And I will tell you that thank you very much for watching. Remember to tune back in tomorrow because we have more games coming your way. Storm Esports will be against Granite Gaming in our first matchup tomorrow. That's 4 PM EST, 10 PM European time. We have on the other side, and then we'll have after that Oxygen versus 30K. That should be an absolute belter of a match, belter of a series swing. Thank you for the 69 bits. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed, consider dropping those bits, all of those subs. Make sure to follow so that you can see when these games go live. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link to the live stream so you can see these games live. Or make sure to hit that subscribe or join button so that you can see when these games go live and support the channel that way. I do this for free, so every bit of support is appreciated. Everybody, thank you very much for watching. I'm going to raid to someone. Have a wonderful night, and I will see you all next time.